Good morning. Welcome to Mantra 108, where we have just begun a brand new mantra. Yesterday was our first day of this new mantra. Today will be our second day. I'll wait just a moment for everyone to click on to join me. It takes often just a little while for people to get on and find us here. So this mantra is one of the great liberation mantras. Good morning, Elizabeth. One of the great liberation mantras in the Vedic tradition. This one in particular is from the Sama Vedas. And so when we chant this mantra, we chant it for the benefit of all beings. It's one of the great liberation mantras. Good morning, Bianca. Good morning, Piers and Holly. This mantra facilitates the individual moving into bigger consciousness, returning to greater consciousness, the grand rising. Yes, that's a good way to put it. The grand rising, or the grand remembering, I like to say, because we know that we are a part of divine consciousness. We are an expression of divine consciousness, and so sometimes we forget that. This mantra helps us to remember it, to connect with it, and to transcend to it. So we chant it not only for ourselves, but for the benefit of all beings. One of the things that I want to do during this 21-day practice is to share with you many of the readings from this book. This book is called The Path of the Yoga Sutras, so a practical guide to the core of yoga. So, of course, our mantra is also yoga. Yoga is so much more than our physical practice that many people think of it as. And so yoga includes our mantra practices. It includes the disciplines of the Kriya Shakti, the actions that we take in life to connect to that inner knowing, that inner being, that divine consciousness that we all live within. And so this particular book, it's not a chapter by chapter delineation of the Yoga Sutras. Good morning, Corinne. As many of the Yoga Sutra books are. But what this does is Nikolai Bachman, who wrote the book, has taken 51 of the key concepts from the Yoga Sutras, and he speaks about those different concepts. So through this 21-day practice, last time we looked at the yamas and niyamas. This time we're going to work our way through this book a little bit and talk about some of the key concepts of the sutras. So the one that I've chosen for us to begin with, for any of you who know the sutras, and many of you do, of course, we'll begin with Atta. Atta Yoga Nu Sashanam is how the sutras start. That's the very beginning phrase of the Yoga Sutras. The very first word is Atta. So, what does Atta mean? Atta is the beginning, it's readiness, it's becoming ready for yoga in everything that yoga is. And so I'll read to you a couple of things here from Nikolai Bachman's book. He says, beginnings, like endings, can be difficult or exciting. Starting something new implies change, a step toward an eventual goal. Atta is the very first word in the Yoga Sutras and is considered an auspicious way to begin. Whenever we make an important decision, often the universe will energetically support us. Don't you find that happens? You get this idea, you make a decision, you're going to move forward with the project, and then all of a sudden there are all these unseen forces that just come to help you out. Atta here means beginning the study of who we are, where we are, and how we can make incremental changes to our inner and outer self in order to be less involved with material objects and more in tune with how we feel and how our actions affect those around us. And then he further says, there's a lot more that I won't read, but then the last paragraph here says, commitment holds a solid grounding energy that provides stability and structure to our lives. Deciding to learn and experience what yoga really is requires diligence and effort, which will undoubtedly yield fruit over time. Yoga is a lifestyle designed to develop and refine our body, our mind, and our heart, our thoughts, our words, and our actions. As Steve Jobs once said, the journey is the reward. So the journey here that we're taking in doing this mantra practice, in doing really any of our yogic practices, the journey is the journey back to self. The journey back to knowing our true self, not the self that is our human self, our ego self, our mind chatter self, our let's wrap a story about everything self. It's not that. It's the true self, the divine consciousness that we are an expression of. So this practice takes us back to that space. So, let me remind you of the pronunciation once again of our mantra. Yesterday's practice, and if you go to the video from yesterday, which is archived both on the Mantra 108 page here and my YouTube video, or my YouTube channel, excuse me, which is just Kathy Bolta on YouTube, you'll find yesterday's practice archived, and we got into a lot of deep teaching about the meaning behind this mantra and the specific pronunciation of this mantra, syllable by syllable, which is really important because it's important for us to properly pronounce the Sanskrit when we do our mantra practices, because Sanskrit is not only the vibration of the sound, but it is the form of what we are chanting. It is the essence. It is the energy of what we're chanting. So when we chant it in the correct way, we're becoming what we're chanting. We're becoming, in this case, this return of our individual consciousness back to our divine consciousness, which is just a lovely thing to do. Good morning, Sylvie. Hi, Judy. So the pronunciation, not in detail, but just to help you remember it, goes like this. Auṁ Namo Nārāyaṇāya. Auṁ Namo Nārāyaṇāya. Auṁ Namo Nārayaṇaya. Remember our tongue placement with the na and the na and the ra. Those are very important. And So we'll get started, and we'll go through our 108 this morning. Go a little slower than I usually chant this mantra so that we can get our tongue placement correct. So go ahead and close your eyes. I always use a little digital tanpura to give us a good key to start with, so we don't start too low or too high, and so that we stay on that key throughout our process of chanting the mantra. And so, Atta Yoga Nu Sashanam. Now we begin our yoga. Now we begin our mantra practice, which is our yoga. Good morning, Amy. All right. Go ahead and close your eyes. Sit up nice and tall. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. And begin to sink into a softness. What does that mean? Start to soften your skin. Start to soften your muscles. Bring that softness to your heart. And we'll take an inhale together to begin. Auṁ Namo Nārāyaṇāya. 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 Auṁ Namo Nārayaṇāya. 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 Auṁ Auṁ Namo Nārāyaṇāya. 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Aum. Please sit in the silence of your sound vibration. And so that brings us to the end of our practice today. If you feel so inclined, I'd love to have you write a little bit in the comments about how this first day of doing a whole 108 of our beautiful liberation mantra, how that felt for you today. As I said yesterday, there are so many and sounds in this particular mantra. Narayanaya, Narayanaya. Oh, so many sounds, and which are the first and second letters of the Sanskrit alphabet. and they are divine consciousness. They are supreme consciousness. Ah and ah. So for me, this is a mantra that brings me to a very spacious place. But you may have a different experience with it. So I'd love to hear what your experience is with this mantra. And I will let you go for today. I will see you tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, same time right here. And we'll continue. We are on our second day of practice. We'll continue our third day of our 21-day practice. And I'll continue to share these wonderful little tidbits out of Nikolai Bachman's beautiful book about the Yoga Sutras. All right. Atta, we begin today. We begin every day, don't we? We begin moving back to our true self, taking that journey back again and again and again, taking the journey back to our heart, taking the journey back to our knowledge that we are an expression of the divine. Okay, bye-bye. Love you all. See you tomorrow.